Have you ever wondered how seemingly intelligent and successful people could fall prey to a con artist?
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into a story that's
Yeah.
fascinating as it is disturbing. The
Oh,
case of the DeVry family
okay.
and Terry Tilley.
Okay.
So, picture this.
Yeah.
A wealthy French family living in a chateau, successful careers, a life many would envy,
Mm-hmm.
and then enters Terry Tilley,
Right.
an unassuming IT guy
Oh,
who
wow.
manages to convince them they're targets of a global conspiracy.
Wow.
What's truly remarkable is this didn't happen in some remote village or back in the Dark Ages. This unfolded in the early 2000s with a family firmly embedded in modern society.
Right.
They weren't naive or isolated, yet they
Yeah.
were completely ensnared.
That's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, we're talking about Philippe, an executive at Shell Oil,
Mm-hmm.
Ghislaine, running a prestigious secretarial school in Paris,
Okay.
and Charles Henri, a respected obstetrician.
Wow.
These are accomplished individuals, not people you typically associate with falling for outlandish claims.
And that's precisely what makes this case so intriguing. It challenges our assumptions about who is vulnerable to manipulation.
Right.
The DeVry family, despite their status and intelligence, possess certain traits that Tilly exploited with chilling precision.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got a Vanity Fair article,
Okay.
Christine's memoir, she's one of the family members,
Right.
and even some court documents.
Wow.
What do these sources reveal about how Tilly managed to infiltrate this family?
Well, it appears Tilly was a master at playing to their sense of self-importance.
Okay.
He showered them with flattery,
Oh, it's
suggesting they were destined for greater things,
right.
while simultaneously stoking their fears about this supposed Freemason conspiracy threatening their lives and possessions.
So the calculated manipulation, a
Mhm.
combination of inflating their egos and making them paranoid.
Precisely. He convinced them that their wealth, their lineage, made them special, but
Mhm.
also targets. This created a sense of urgency, a need to rely on him for protection.
Right.
He positioned himself as the solution to a problem he fabricated.
It's hard to imagine this working on a family like the DeVry. Was it a gradual process, or did they buy into his claims immediately?
It wasn't an overnight transformation,
Okay.
but Tilly was patient and methodical. He started with Ghislaine,
Oh,
who had hired him at her secretarial school.
right.
Even then, there were accounts of him using unusual tactics,
Okay.
like bringing in imposing security guards and Rottweilers to patrol the school ground.
Rottweilers.
Yeah.
At a secretarial school?
Yeah.
That seems excessive.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of that?
It's unclear,
All right.
but it certainly created an atmosphere of intimidation,
Mm-hmm.
subtly reinforcing the idea of danger lurking around every corner. It also established Tilly as someone capable of taking charge,
Right.
of providing security in a world he was painting as increasingly threatening.
So he's planting these seeds of fear
Yeah,
and simultaneously presenting himself as the solution.
precise.
Very clever and very sinister.
And the sources indicate he was incredibly manipulative. Going beyond just creating a sense of unease, he would instruct Ghislaine to perform strange acts, like confronting her husband with dried flowers and a single glove,
Okay.
accusing him of being an agent of evil.
Wow.
Later, emails revealed that Tilly had orchestrated this entire confrontation.
Wow. That's chilling. He was pulling the strings from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So Ghislaine gets divorced, buys into this conspiracy, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
Did the rest of the family just follow suit?
Not immediately, but Tilly had firmly established his influence over Ghislaine,
Right.
and he leveraged that to gain access to the rest of the family. Ghislaine's daughter, Guimay, was getting married,
Oh, okay.
and this became Tilly's opportunity to widen his web of deception.
So picture this. A beautiful wedding,
Yeah.
a grand chateau,
Mm-hmm.
a seemingly charming man mingling with the guests.
Yeah.
Except this man is planting the same seeds of paranoia he used on Ghislaine, now targeting the rest of the DeVry family.
Yes, and he was remarkably adept at tailoring his approach to each individual. He'd flatter Philippe, suggesting he should be running Shell Oil, not just an executive.
Right.
He'd imply to Charles Henri that he was far too talented to be just an obstetrician.
Wow.
He preyed on their ambitions, their insecurities, all while weaving in this narrative of an omnipresent threat from the Freemasons.
It's terrifying how calculated and personalized his manipulation was. So what was the turning point?
Yeah.
When did this family go from skeptical to fully under Tilly's influence?
It's difficult to pinpoint an exact moment,
Okay.
But a pattern emerges from the sources. Tilly began isolating them.
Ugh.
Ghislaine shut down her school, stopped paying taxes, and the family retreated to their chateau,
Wow.
cutting themselves off from the outside world.
This is where things take a truly bizarre turn. They abandon their successful careers,
Yeah.
sell their properties,
Yeah.
and entrust all their money to Tilly, all under the guise of needing to escape this fabricated threat.
This isolation and financial dependence are hallmarks of cult-like situations.
Right.
By stripping the family of their independence and support networks, Tilly could exert even greater control over their lives.
They became completely reliant on him, both financially and emotionally. It's like he was creating his own little kingdom.
Precisely. This dependence made it increasingly difficult for them to question his motives
Yeah.
or the validity of his claims.
Right.
Remember, at this point, their only source of information is Tilly. They're living in an echo chamber of his creation.
What about the children? Were they all caught up in this delusion as well?
That's where things get a bit more complex. Christine's memoir describes her children enduring horrific conditions, forced to live in squalor and subjected to bizarre punishments.
Right.
However, Ghislaine's son, GM, seems to have become Tilly's right-hand man,
Okay.
actively participating in some of the more unsettling activities.
Hold on. Let's delve into this GM character because he adds another layer of mystery to this whole case. He later attempts to obtain a driver's license while wearing an expensive but unconvincing latex mask.
Right.
He was disguised as this figure named Jacques Gonzalez, who Tilly claimed was a high-ranking leader in their organization.
Okay.
This raises a crucial question.
Yeah.
Was GM a willing participant,
Right.
seduced by Tilly's ideology?
Right.
Or was he just as manipulated as the rest of the family? The sources don't offer a definitive answer,
Right.
but it certainly adds a fascinating wrinkle to this story.
It makes you wonder about the dynamics within the family. Did everyone genuinely believe in Tilly's conspiracy?
Right.
Or were some, like GM perhaps, playing along for other reasons?
That's where the line between victim and accomplice can become blurred.
Yeah.
We may never fully understand GM's motivations or the extent of his involvement, but it's a piece of the puzzle that deserves further exploration.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, welcome back to our deep dive. When we left off, the DeVry family was ensnared in Tilly's web of deception.
Right.
Isolated in England, financially depleted, and clinging to the fabricated reality he had constructed for them.
Yeah.
While Christine had managed to break free with the help of Bear and Bobby,
Right.
the rest of her family remained under Tilly's influence.
Okay.
Their rescue was a delicate and complex undertaking. It's like something out of a spy movie.
Yeah.
This Ocean's 11 style extraction you mentioned.
Right.
Who spearheaded this operation?
Yeah. How do they even begin to approach
Yeah.
such a challenging situation?
The operation was masterminded by Ghislaine's ex-husband, Jean.
Okay.
He never gave up hope of bringing her back, and when news of Tilly's arrest reached him,
Yeah.
he saw an opportunity to free the family from his grip. So Jean assembles this team of experts,
Wow.
psychologists, criminologists,
Hmm.
even a transportation specialist.
Wow.
It's fascinating how they recognized the need for not just a physical rescue, but a psychological one as well. They understood that simply removing the family from Tilly's physical presence wouldn't be enough. Years of manipulation had warped their perceptions, and they needed careful deprogramming to help them understand the extent of Tilly's deception without causing further trauma. It's almost like diffusing a bomb,
Right.
except the bomb is their deeply ingrained belief in this conspiracy and their unwavering trust in Tilly. It must have been an incredibly sensitive and intricate operation.
Absolutely. And it wasn't without its challenges.
Right.
John, driven by his love for Ghislaine and years of separation,
Right.
almost jeopardized the entire operation.
Oh no, what happened? I can only imagine the emotional turmoil he must
Okay.
have been going through. He attempted to confront Ghislaine alone, hoping to reason with her,
Yeah.
to remind her of their life together before Tilly's influence poisoned their relationship.
Right.
Unfortunately, it backfired. She was still deeply entrenched in Tilly's fabricated reality.
And this unexpected encounter only served to intensify her paranoia,
Yeah.
making the entire family even more suspicious of anyone from the outside.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking, but understandable given the circumstances.
Mhm.
He was trying to reach the woman he loved,
Mm-hmm.
the woman he knew was still in there, somewhere beneath the layers of manipulation.
It speaks volumes about his love and determination,
Yeah.
but it also underscores the critical need for expertise in these situations. This wasn't a matter of simply convincing someone they were wrong.
Right.
It required a deep understanding of how cults operate,
Right.
how to dismantle deeply held beliefs without inflicting additional psychological harm. So Gene's attempt backfires.
Hmm.
The family retreats further into their shell of paranoia,
Yeah.
and the rescue team is left to pick up the pieces. How did they manage to recover from this setback? They had to
Right.
regroup,
Right.
reassess the situation, and
Yeah.
proceed with even greater caution. They couldn't risk another misstep.
Right.
They bided their time, waiting for the right moment to act,
Uh-huh.
and it finally arrived several months later.
Right.
With Tilly behind bars, his ability to exert direct control over the family weakened. This was their chance, okay?
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
How did this extraction actually unfold? Was it a daring escape in the dead of night? Fake passports?
Right.
Secret rendezvous points?
Yeah, it sounds like something straight out of a spy thriller.
It wasn't quite as dramatic as a Hollywood action scene,
All right.
but it involved a carefully coordinated effort to gain the family's trust,
Right.
slowly chipping away at Tilly's narrative,
Okay.
kind of reminding them of their lives before his influence took hold. It must have been incredibly difficult. They were still reeling from Tilly's arrest,
Yeah.
confused,
Right.
scared,
Yeah.
and clinging to the beliefs he had instilled in them for years.
Exactly.
It wasn't about forceful deprogramming,
Right.
but about providing them with a safe space to question,
Mhm.
to process, and to gradually come to their own conclusions.
Okay.
It was a painstakingly slow process,
Right.
requiring patience,
Yeah.
empathy,
Yeah.
and a deep understanding of the psychological manipulation they had endured. So, one by one, they started to break free from this fabricated reality. What was it like for them to realize that their lives for the past decade had been based on a lie?
Yeah.
Christine's memoir offers some insight into this experience. She describes it as a whirlwind of emotions:
Mhm.
relief, anger, confusion,
Right.
and a profound sense of loss. It's unimaginable. They lost their careers,
Right.
their savings, their home,
Yeah.
and a decade of their lives. And perhaps the most difficult aspect was coming to terms with the fact that they had been manipulated,
Right.
that their own actions, even those undertaken under duress,
Mm.
had contributed to their predicament. It's an incredibly heavy burden to bear. I can only imagine the guilt and self-blame they must have felt. This must have been particularly challenging for Ghislaine, considering her role in bringing Tilly into their lives in the first place.
Yeah.
It was a long and arduous journey for her.
Yeah.
But amidst the tragedy, there's a glimmer of hope in their story.
Ah.
Despite everything they had endured,
Mm.
Ghislaine and Jean managed to reconcile. They rebuilt their relationship, finding solace and understanding in each other after this traumatic experience. It's a testament to the enduring power of love and forgiveness,
Right.
even in the face of such extraordinary circumstances. So, the family is back in France.
Okay.
Tilly is behind bars.
Yeah.
Does this mark the end of their ordeal?
Yeah. Are they free?
Not entirely. While the immediate threat posed by Tilly was gone,
Yeah.
the psychological scars of his manipulation ran deep. They had to rebuild their lives from scratch,
Right.
grapple with the financial and emotional repercussions of their experience,
Mhm.
and face the judgment of those who couldn't comprehend how they had fallen prey to such a scheme.
It's easy to judge them, to label
Yeah.
them as gullible or naive. But I imagine the reality is far more complex. Their vulnerability, their willingness to trust,
Right.
was exploited in a systematic and insidious way. It's a
Yes.
cautionary tale for all of us.
Precisely. It reminds us that anyone, regardless of intelligence, social standing, or
Right.
education, can become a target of manipulation. The DeVry family's story serves as a stark reminder of the importance of critical thinking,
Right.
of seeking outside perspectives,
Yeah.
and of being wary of those who claim to have all the answers. So Tilly was convicted,
Right.
What was the outcome of the trial?
Yeah, what happened?
He was found guilty on multiple charges,
Okay.
including fraud, imprisonment accompanied by acts of barbarism and torture,
Wow.
extortion of funds, and abuse of weakness.
Jeez.
His initial sentence of 8 years was increased to 10,
Wow.
meaning he remains incarcerated to this day.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's a significant sentence. How did Tilly react to the verdict? Did he show any remorse for the harm he inflicted on this family?
Not at all. Throughout the trial,
Really?
He declined legal counsel and maintained his innocence.
Wow.
He even attempted to manipulate the judge with fabricated stories, claiming he couldn't reveal crucial details due to his supposed top-secret work.
It's almost comical if it weren't so disturbing.
Right.
Even when confronted with overwhelming evidence, he refused to acknowledge the devastating consequences of his actions.
It reveals a profound level of delusion
Right.
and a chilling absence of empathy.
Yeah.
And despite the trial and his conviction, certain aspects of his motivation remain shrouded in mystery.
Right.
What truly drove him to orchestrate this elaborate scheme?
Yeah.
Was it purely about money?
Right.
Or was there a deeper psychological need for control,
Yeah.
for shaping the lives of others according to his twisted vision? It's a question that lingers, adding to the intrigue of this case.
Yeah.
And then there's the enigmatic figure of Jacques Gonzalez, the supposed leader of Tilly's organization. Didn't he turn out to be a real person? Yes, but his role in this whole affair remains unclear. The Vanity Fair article details a rather bizarre encounter between the journalist and Gonzalez,
Okay.
who initially feigned ignorance about the entire situation.
Okay.
However, 6 months later,
Mm-hmm.
he was arrested, adding yet another layer of complexity to this already convoluted case. So we're left with more questions than answers.
Right.
What was Gonzalez's true involvement?
Yeah.
Was he a willing accomplice or another one of Tilly's victims drawn into his web of deception?
Yeah.
And what about Tilly's wife, Jessica?
Yeah.
Did she have any knowledge of his activities?
Right.
Was she complicit in his schemes? These are questions that may never have definitive answers. Perhaps that's part of what makes this story so captivating. It's a reminder that truth can be elusive.
Yeah.
And even when presented with seemingly irrefutable evidence,
Right.
there are always hidden depths,
Yeah.
untold stories, and lingering mysteries. The DeVry family's ordeal might be over, but the ripple effects of Tilly's actions continue to resonate. Their story serves as a warning, a
Right.
stark reminder to remain vigilant against manipulation and to question those who claim to hold the keys to our safety and well-being.
It's a story that stays with you,
Right.
prompting reflection on the complexities of human nature, the allure of belief,
Yeah.
and the fragility of truth in a world where manipulation can take many forms. I'm completely engrossed in this case.
Right.
And I'm sure our listeners are as well.
Yeah.
It's a true labyrinth of intrigue and deception.
Absolutely.
You mentioned court documents and the family's struggle to reclaim their chateau. What insights can we glean from those sources, those documents, along with Christine's personal account of her time under Tilly's control,
Right.
offer a deeper understanding of his methods,
Yeah.
the psychological impact of his manipulation,
Mhm.
and the long and arduous process of healing and rebuilding their lives?
Right.
It sounds like we have much more to uncover in part 3 of our deep dive into the Tilly case. So welcome back to our deep dive into the Tilly case. We've been unpacking the shocking story of the DeVry family, a wealthy French family who fell under the sway of Terry Tilly, a master manipulator. We've heard about their descent into isolation, their financial ruin, and their eventual escape from his clutches. Now, let's delve into the psychological tactics Tilly employed and the profound impact this ordeal had on the family. Christine's memoir offers a harrowing but invaluable first-hand account of Tilly's methods and their devastating consequences.
Right.
We talked about his strategy of using flattery and fear, building them up while instilling paranoia, but I'm curious to know how this played out in their daily lives.
Yeah.
Can you give us some specific examples from Christine's account?
Well, Christine describes how Tilly would constantly remind them of their noble lineage, their supposed importance in the world, and then warn them of the dangers that came with it.
Oh.
He convinced them that their wealth and status made them targets of this shadowy organization, the Leding, which he seemingly invented.
It's like he created this perverse sense of pride, a belief that they were exceptional but constantly under threat. This must have fostered an intense reliance on him as their supposed protector.
Precisely. And he reinforced this dependence by isolating them from anyone who might challenge his narrative.
Right.
He convinced them that their friends, even other family members, were potential enemies, infiltrated by the Leding. He effectively cut them off from any external support or validation.
So they were trapped in this echo chamber with Tilly as the sole source of information. It's a classic cult tactic, isn't it? Cutting off access to outside perspectives to maintain control.
Absolutely. And Christine's memoir reveals just how deep this isolation went. Tilly controlled their communication, their finances, even their sense of time.
Wow.
He forbade clocks and calendars in the chateau, further disorienting them and making them more reliant on him for structure and guidance.
It's as if he was systematically dismantling their sense of self, their connection to the outside world, and replacing it with his own fabricated reality.
And this manipulation extended beyond the physical and financial realms. It permeated their thoughts and beliefs. Christine describes being forced to write for hours each day, documenting her feelings, her beliefs, and ultimately trying to unlock this so-called secret knowledge that Tilly convinced her she possessed.
This whole transmission and the Belgian bank account business is just bizarre. Did Tilly genuinely believe in this, or was it just another tool of manipulation?
It's a question that continues to baffle those who have studied this case. Some speculate that he may have suffered from delusions himself, truly believing in this grand conspiracy. Others believe it was a calculated tactic, a way to keep the family off balance, desperate for a solution that only he could provide.
And this transmission, this supposed secret knowledge, became the justification for Christine's horrific torture, didn't it?
Tragically, yes. Tilly convinced the family, including Christine's own husband and son, that she was withholding vital information, the key to their salvation.
Oh, wow.
For weeks, they subjected her to sleep deprivation, starvation, and physical abuse, all in the name of extracting this non-existent knowledge.
It's difficult to comprehend how a family could turn on one of their own like that. But it speaks to the insidious nature of Tilly's manipulation. He had distorted their perception of reality to such an extent that they believed they were acting in their own best interests, even as they were inflicting unimaginable cruelty.
And Christine's account is a testament to the profound and lasting psychological scars inflicted by this kind of abuse. Even after escaping Tilly's control, she struggled with feelings of guilt, shame, and self-blame. She had been manipulated, yes, but she had also participated in her own suffering.
It's a heartbreaking reminder that the damage caused by psychological manipulation isn't always visible and can persist long after the immediate threat is gone. It's a wound that runs deep.
The family's struggle to reclaim their chateau after Tilly's arrest provides further insight into the complexities of this case. They argued that Charles-Henri had been tricked into signing over the property, that he wasn't of sound mind due to Tilly's influence.
That makes sense. They were isolated, financially dependent, and completely immersed in Tilly's fabricated world. Their ability to make rational judgments had been severely compromised.
However, the courts ultimately ruled against them. The chateau was legally sold, and a new family now resides there, oblivious to the dark history woven into its very fabric.
What a profound loss, not just of a property, but of a legacy, a tangible connection to their family history. It's another layer of tragedy in this already devastating story.
It underscores the enduring consequences of Tilly's actions. He didn't just steal their money, he stole their lives, their sense of self, their connection to their past. The damage he inflicted extends far beyond any financial loss.
Their story is a chilling reminder that manipulation can happen to anyone, anywhere. It highlights the importance of critical thinking, of seeking outside perspectives, and of being wary of those who claim to have all the answers, those who promise easy solutions to complex problems.
The DeVry family's ordeal might be over, but their story continues to serve as a warning to us all. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but also a cautionary tale about the fragility of truth and the insidious nature of manipulation in a world where deception can lurk in the most unexpected places.
It's been a truly fascinating, albeit disturbing deep dive into the Tilly case. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this story has resonated with you, we encourage you to delve deeper into the source material. Christine's memoir, in particular, offers a powerful and poignant perspective on this complex and unsettling case.
Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about the tactics of manipulators like Terry Tilly, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves and those we care about from falling prey to their schemes. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and always question those who claim to hold the keys to your well-being.